Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sin.
15 PCA.
87454.
Be sure to check us out over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. Join the discussion over on Discord, link in the description below. And if you're enjoying the videos, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit that bell for notifications. Turning Red, Disney Pixar's newest animated film, straight to Disney Plus. I did a live reaction tweets as I was watching the film for the first time when it came out. And I did a TikTok review. You can go check that out, and links in the bio. And it's okay. But overall, 100% honesty, it's just okay. But this is the 6-pack of the last 6 animated films that came out from Disney have all just been okay. That's not good enough for Disney anymore. When I think Pixar and you think of things like Up and Finding Nemo, Toy Story, films that will live on forever in animation, Turning Red, it ain't one of them. It's just going to be, oh yeah, they made that film too. Kind of like The Good Dinosaur and Luca, they're just okay. I mean, but they don't do anything to push like this amazing animated film. But also, I believe the rating's PG, and I say that's about right. As a parent or a guardian, watch the film, see if it's for your child. I say 13. The ages of the characters of the film would be the perfect age. Any younger than that, as they talk again, spoiler alerts, but they do talk about her getting her first period and like feminine hygiene products, pads and stuff like that, which there's nothing wrong with any of that. It's just when if a kid is like 5 and they're not going to, what's that? Their minds, it's just not something they need to worry about right now. A little bit older, then they can start, discussing those kinds of things. So that's up to you as a parent to make that decision. But if you would ask me, I would say 13 would probably be the best age for this film, because then they will get all the things instead of just being confused the whole time. I like the animation. It's again, the character designs, everyone kind of has like that very roundish look. Everyone keeps saying Grubhub commercial, kind of, but it's a simplistic look. But the backgrounds look great. The big panda it's super cute. It has all that kind of stuff, merchandising potential. But my biggest problem with the film is it doesn't really have a plot. The plot is, I hate my parents, I want to go to a concert. And that's not till like almost when the movie's almost over do you get to that plot point where them wanting to go to this concert. Because everything up to that is like, okay, where are we going with the story? Because there's no bad guy. And that seems to be like a trend where there's no like villain and there's no like lesson to be learned. It's so weird because you just trudge along, and by the time they get to the part where they want to go to the concert, I thought to myself, this can't be the plot. Like, this is the main like point of contention, and that's it. It's like she wants to go to the concert, the 4-town concert. Can the stakes get any smaller? It don't get no smaller. Especially when you can like turn into this giant panda, which never seems to be an actual issue. It's weird. We start up and we get from the trailer, I'm Aylin, I live in Canada and I'm the best girl that ever was, which is really funny because later on in the film we find out that she isn't a straight A student. She gets B's and C's too, but she hides it from her mom. So all these like big talk about I can do this, I can do that, I'm number one, all that's not true really. We meet her friends, and the only friend that's meaningful to the plot is the redhead, the tall one. I thought it was a boy. When I first saw the trailers, I thought this was a boy. It's actually, the way she dresses is totally tomboy. But she's the only one that actually like does things that pushes the plot forward. The other two, especially the little one in the overalls, she's just really loud to the point to where it's like she can't even talk. She always talks like this. That's like she's always like yelling and stuff. It's super weird. And the other one is just a bump on the log. I talk like this and I'm disinterested in everything. They're unneeded. Those two characters could not be in the film and it would be the exact same film. So, I don't know, this whole talk about her friends are always there for her and everything, they weren't needed for the plot. Like there's all these like articles about like, oh, her friends, and then the only friend is the curly hair tall one. She's the only one who actually like interacts with her and talks with her and like says all the things about being a good friend and them, they were there for you. And the other two just agree with her later on. So it's just like, your guys aren't really doing anything. And it's so funny because I'm seeing pictures, on Twitter that, they're lesbians or they're bisexual. There's not one moment in this film with these girls liking girls. There are multiple moments in this film where all these girls are going goo goo gaga over boys. I don't know how this gets misconstrued into them liking girls. It's insane. It's crazy. But we see that the May and her mom run a temple, and it's dedicated to the red panda and everything. So it's just a little costume, like a cardboard costume, and they sell knickknacks and charms and all that kind of stuff. Is this their only job? I'm assuming the mom and dad have other jobs, but we don't see, and I'm assuming they're pretty well off. So I don't know. It just seems to me that they don't really discuss that, but I'm thinking they gotta be doing pretty well. And so May's kind of, I don't know. What does that say? She's privileged, right? But we kind of go through like her doing her work and everything. They all have a crush on this guy at the corner store, and he's like 17. But girls get crushes, and that's fine. Let's swap the genders. You got a bunch of 13-year-old boys crushing after a 17-year-old girl at the corner store, and they're all like drawing pictures of her and everything. Would we, as a collective on social media, would we be okay with that? We already know the answer. Of course, the answer is no. These boys would be labeled as perverts and awful and horrible and terrible and all that kind of stuff, but it is what it is, right? But we see that, May's starting, she's getting older. She's like kind of noticing boys a lot more. So that she draws like little, cartoony, very awful drawing, but she draws better than me. Them like hugging and kissing, that kind of stuff. It's whatever. The mom finds these pictures, and the mom's insane, right? The mom's actually literally out of her mind insane. And she starts to think, oh, who's this boy? What is this? Have you been doing these kinds of things with this boy? And to think that her daughter was doing these kind of like hugging and kissing. And you look at her daughter, she's like a little girl. She's like a little kid. And it's kind of disturbing to think that this boy was having like a sexual relationship with her. Insane. And if you really thought this was happening, you would call the cops, right? But she goes, she kind of notices the boy, that it's the boy that works at the corner store. So she's going to go confront the boy. Mom, you've gone insane. Goes and confronts the boy and says, have you been, my little daughter, how could you do this and all this kind of stuff? And I'm thinking, oh my God, Mom, you've gone crazy. Didn't tell the father. So you're thinking, what's the best case scenario here? That this boy is molesting your daughter? And he didn't tell the dad? Okay. So she like embarrasses her in front of everyone and then like uses the drawings as evidence. Look what you do to my daughter. And the guy's like, whoa, what the hell? Like he doesn't even know who these kids are. Because all the girls like admire him from like outside. So he couldn't even recognize these girls if he held a gun to his head. And the mom thinks, I did a good job. Aren't you right, May? And May just agrees with her because whatever. And this is another part of the film where I don't like this. No one ever talks about this kind of stuff. She goes back and forth of blaming herself. And then this is another thing when I said like, you should be about 13 because I don't think little kids should be using these kinds of words. She goes like, she blames herself. Why did I draw those pictures? Those terrible, horrible, sexy pictures. I don't want to have to just, explain sexy to a 5-year-old. Should not be in their words. 13, 14, 15, kids are getting older. Okay, they can have more of a concept of, that's an attractive person. But like at 5 years old, really? So PG-13, I think it'd be perfect. But she goes back and forth between blaming her mom and blaming herself, which is horrible because this is 100% the mom's fault. But it reminded me of that scene from Tangled. Remember when she went back and forth and blaming herself and blaming her mom? It's kind of like that, but not done as well. She has the dream about the panda and everything. And then we get they mess up the misunderstanding between the daughter and the mom. The mom thinks she had her first period. And of course, everyone goes insane because you can't just be like, well, honey, let's talk about this. But the mom's like freaking out. Let's not make I don't get why. I'm a guy. I know. Oh, surprise. I would handle this better. Like you're the mother. Shouldn't you be a little more, I don't know, knowledgeable? It's crazy. But she has like, I have pads and I have Midol. She's or like aspirin and all the kinds of things you would need, which is nice. But she's doing it in a frantic, crazy way. And of course, she just turned into the panda, and the mom doesn't know that. So she's having to freak out about it. But it's not about getting her period. It's about just being a panda. And the mom's like setting her up for all these things. And she's able to kind of calm herself a little bit enough to where she's going to go to school. Me as a dad, I would ask my daughter if I really did believe she got her first period and that's what happened. I'd be like, honey, do you want to stay home from school today? 100% fine. When we can, go over all the things you're going to need to start doing as you're becoming a young woman. I would do that. The mom sends her to school, which I would never do. But whatever. She's wearing, because I guess it turns her hair red too. She has her hair up in a little like beanie or whatever. She gets sent to school and all her friends are like, oh man, I can't believe what happened at the corner store. Everyone's calling you a perv. Another word I don't want to have to explain to like a 5-year-old. Again, a little bit older. There's little words and little phrases where I don't think little kids should know what a pervert is. Like ridiculous, especially in the context here is like, oh, you're looking at this boy and you wanted to be with him. Like seriously. But it just goes on in the school, and the mom is insane. She's in class and the mom's like spying on her. First, when you first see this scene in the trailer, you think it's because she's a panda. And the mom is like, oh no, she's going to turn to a panda in school. No, she's spying on her daughter because she thinks she got her first period. Why would you need to spy on your daughter because she got her period? That's crazy. I don't know. But then the security guard goes out there, you can't be on campus. Yeah, what are you doing? So they're starting to get chased off like, hey, May, isn't that your mom? And then she starts freaking out because her mom's in there. Then as the mom's getting dragged away, and I kid you not, she pulls out a box of pads. Says, honey, you forgot these. In front of the whole class, and embarrasses the ever-living F out of her daughter. And people on Twitter are like, oh, this is something that happened to the director. Well, your mom is awful. An absolute idiot. Again, as a man, if I was her father, I wouldn't be this stupid. So she does that, and then she ends up turning into the big panda and just tries to escape to school and everything. And then you get like a chase scene. So she's like running back home. I gotta get home. There's another scene where, again, you fought the genders. It would not be okay. She's making a thing. She does like a thing where she gets stuck in the wall and her butt is so big it won't fit through the wall. So we get a huge panda butt. Like ridiculously huge, gigantic, jamunga gunga giant butt. What the heck? And the thing is, she's like a 13-year-old little girl who has zero shape at all. She's just like a little dumpy little girl. But when she's a panda, she gets a huge butt. It's ridiculous. She gets to the corner store, and it's a scene that everyone keeps memeing and making it funny because it's ridiculous. She does the foot stampy thing like she's getting super excited. Does the awooga, like the hello nurse, and she gets her tongue out of her mouth. And didn't we cancel Pepe Le Pew for being this way? In the Space Jam movie, they removed him from the whole movie because he's kind of like this. This is way worse than what Pepe Le Pew would do, but it's okay because it's a girl. Again, 13-year-old boy, 17-year-old girl working at the corner store. Would that be okay? No, it's ridiculous. But she gets home, and it's then they kind of find out that it's the panda thing, and she's trying to calm herself down, but it's not really working. So they just like lock her away because this is an awful, horrible thing that's happening to you. And they explain it as she's, I guess a long time ago, all the men went to war, but there's bandits came to town. So she prayed to the panda to give her like powers to protect the town. But why not become like a cool dragon or something, or a tiger, an effing panda? So that's something for all the women, get this power. And it kind of manifests when you get around 13, when you hit maturity. So yeah, we're going to lock you up, but there's a special ritual they can do to take it away. And he like locks it away. Then at that very moment, I'm like, oh, the mom's going to end up having to break her. This is what I said on Twitter. I'm like, oh, the mom's going to end up having to break it to save her daughter from something. She does have to break it and become her panda, but it's not to save her. It's the like scold her. It's stupid. My idea was dumb, but what really happens is even dumber. So they like lock her away. So it's the whole feel, conceal, no, don't feel, conceal thing from Frozen. Like exactly like the thing from Frozen. Oh, this is a terrible, awful, horrible thing. And they're saying this right outside her door. So she hears and she's crying. The dad should have really sat down with her, but the dad just kind of is a know-nothing kind of guy until like one scene. But whatever. But she's able to kind of control it a little bit, so she can calm herself down when she thinks of her friends. Again, F your family, love your friends. Like your see, I've always been the whole you love your family, you like your friends. We're getting to the point in society where you love your friends and like your family. I don't prescribe to that, but that's kind of what we push here. The next morning, she's like kind of fine. She's like, look, mom, I know how to control it. Like, you can even put me through some tests or whatever. So they like put her through all these tests to like kind of aggravate her, but she's able to think of her friends and calm herself down. And she's like, oh, I'm able to do it because I think of the people I love. And the mom thinks, oh, you're thinking of me. You love me. She's like, yeah, sure, mom. Of course I love you. But she does not think of her mom. So she doesn't love her mom. Weird, right? Like, that's so, I don't know. Your friends are okay. They're just okay. Like, ridiculous. Because they were able to calm her down at the school. Like, when they found out about her, they all give her like big hugs or whatever. But I don't know. So that's like being understanding. I get it, but her friends are useless except for the tall one. She's the only one that's able to like talk to her. The other two just agree with whatever the tall one says. Is her name Miriam? Am I thinking of the right thing? I don't know. The tall one. So she's able to do that and control herself. I'm thinking, where do we get to the plot? Where do we get to what's the big problem? Because obviously if she can control it, then what's the problem? And if she gets really angry, but don't get that crazy angry. I don't ever remember ever getting that angry. And I'm a guy and I played football in high school. Getting so angry to the point where you want to kill people? Like, ridiculous. Like, I don't get it. Like, is that your women's emotions so out of control they can't stop themselves? Is that the message? But I guess the grandma's going to come over and help with the ritual to seal it away. We see the grandma has a scar. So I'm like, oh, the mom attacked her. Like, that's what happened. That's why she's so afraid of being the panda. I don't know. It's ridiculous. So do girls normally attack their mothers growing up? I don't know. Is that a thing? But then we get some other stuff. But we get to the main plot of the film. The four town boys are coming to Toronto, and they only have so much time they cost $200 a ticket. We can explain to our parents that we really want to go. None of the kids get to go because it's $200. You're freaking out of your damn mind. So they're gonna raise money by selling photos and like hug sessions and video clips of herself. This sounds awful, right? Someone said it's OnlyPans, right? Instead of OnlyFans, it's OnlyPans of her panda form, and kids will pay money. So kids start lining up outside the classroom door with their money in their hand to come see the panda. I don't know what they're trying to say here, but this can be misconstrued of her selling pictures of herself for money, and she's 13 years old. I don't know. I don't like it. I think it's gross. Just the idea of thinking like, what is she like letting the boys take pictures of her? I don't know. I hate it. It can be misinterpreted in a million, because this movie's all about metaphors, right? So what's the metaphor here? Just think about it. It's gross. So everyone's paying money to come hug the panda. No one tells their parents there's a giant panda in the school. No one takes a picture. I know it's the 2000s, but there was internet, right? People would share this, right? Like, oh yeah, there's a girl that can turn into a monster, and it was on the news too. So, but no one ever, it's like, it reminds me of, what am I going to say, Steven Universe, where there's all these giant monsters and no one ever says anything. Like, there's no military or police whatsoever. Just let the monsters exist. So they're doing that to raise money. They find out they're lying to their parents too. Well, we'll just say we're going to a sleepover, but we're really going to go to the theater or to the concert. So lie to your parents, sell pictures of yourself. Nothing bad ever comes of this. It's a good thing they did these things. Again, another bad message. I thought personally that by lying and doing all this underhanded stuff, that they would eventually corrupt the panda and it would like make it evil. But no, nothing like that. It's perfectly fine that she does all these things. There's a boy that's been antagonizing like a younger guy. And he's like, maybe. Like, he's the one that gets the dodgeball thrown at him and it almost kills him, but it's okay because he's a jerk. He goes, hey, I'm having a birthday party and I want you to come as the panda. She's like, screw you. You're such a jerk. He's like, hey, no one likes me, but if you're there, then everyone will show up. So like, can you please come? It's kind of like, I'll pay you money. I'll pay you $200. And that's how much they're short to go to the concert. She's like, but she ends up charging like $300 so they have extra money. So come on, let's do this. They all agree to do it. But then she goes home. She's like, oh, I'm going to go to a study group. And the mom's like, oh, I'll go with you. I'm like, oh no. Like the mom's going to find out she's supposed to go to this party. So the party's starting and they're like, hey, I thought you said the panda's going to be here. And the kid's like, oh no. The other girls are there. They went to a party, but they didn't get dressed up. I think this is a, what did you call it? A budget issue, but all the girls wear the same exact clothes every single day. It's ridiculous. And her friends are like, she'll be here. And they're, of course, the guy's getting all pissed off. What did I pay her this money for? She's not showing up. Get back to May. She's with their mom. They start to walk out. The grandma and all the aunties show up. They all have their special little, like, they zoom in on all their little trinkets. Like, oh, that's where they put their panda. Why not just lock it away? If it's so dangerous, did they have to have it on their person? It doesn't explain why they always carry it around with them. So they're going to, like, get her ready for the ritual, right? So they're there and everything, but she's like, oh, yeah, this is great and wonderful. It's like, oh, May's been able to control it. And they're like, oh, wow, that's really amazing that she's able to, not turn into the panda. But we'll do the ritual. When that happens, then she won't even have to worry about it at all. She ends up sneaking out, going to the party, and they all have like a lot of fun. But the funny thing is she shows up as like the panda in the cardboard box because she promised not to turn into the panda because the panda gets more control every time you change into it, which doesn't prove to be true. Did the grandma make that up? Because she's been turning the panda like nonstop for like days and it doesn't have any control over her. Like, was that just some kind of faux pas, story they made up to scare the mom? And like, they would just keep perpetuating this lie to scare you from the panda, even though it does nothing. There's no negative sides to it. I don't get it. So she shows up as like the box panda and they're like, oh, May, what the hell? Like, this is stupid. Why are you showing up at the party dressed up like this ain't the real panda? Then she kind of decides, screw them, I'm going to do it anyways. I'll become the panda. Boom, panda time. Everyone's having fun. They're jumping around. It's great. They're on the roof and they're talking about, yeah, I can't wait to go to the concert. We'll do the ritual on Friday. Then next week's the concert. Everything's going to work out fine. We got the money. Then they hear a radio message saying, oh, the Four Town Boys are going to be here on Friday. What? The loud one got the dates wrong. Like she mixed up Toronto with Toledo. You're telling me all these days they were raising money, they didn't hear a single television commercial. They didn't hear anyone talking about it. They didn't get an email update, nothing telling about the concert. And they're going to buy tickets the day of. When did this concert be sold out? Wouldn't they be all over this information? It's bad writing. Can anyone explain to me, Constable, if this is bad writing or not? It's horrible writing. So the same night of the ritual is the same night of the concert. She's like, man, she's getting all pissed off. I hate my parents. How could they do this to me? We want to go to the concert. It's like our first step in the womanhood. She said that some other time movie. I mean, kids are stupid, right? Then the one kid is like, hey, May, get down here. We want more panda rides. And that's what I'm paying you for. Then they kind of go back and forth saying stuff to each other. First, she's super mean to him. But then he's like, yeah, that's why your mom's crazy. She jumps down there, attacks him. Like attacks him. They end up getting in, like, the parents, like, oh my God. Did they see the panda, the parents? They don't show it. But then, like, the mom gets called there, your daughter beat up my son. Did they just think she beat him up? Or did they know that she can become a giant monster panda? Again, I don't get it, but, she kind of roughed him up. I can't believe you, May. You're lying to me. All this other crap, because the mom saw all the stuff under her bed. Like, she just hid it under her bed. And that's where we saw, like, her, but she got some not necessarily bad grades, but average grades. And then like all the other stuff about saving up money to go to this concert. Then they kind of have their fight about it and everything. But, the mom's like, no, this wasn't my daughter's idea. It was you guys, you bad influences. I don't like your friends. And then the friends are like, hey, let them know that this was like all of our idea. Like, don't let it be put on all us. Then she just kind of hugs her mom and like, doesn't say yes or no, just lets her mom like go off on the friends. And the friend's like, oh, damn, May just threw her under the bus. I laughed out loud at that point. I'm like, haha. So she let the friends take all the blame, which isn't, come on. Seriously, her mom's right there. How many of you would have stood up to your mom at 13? Especially your mom was so overbearing like she is. But then she kind of just agrees, okay, we'll wait for the ritual. So she just stays out of school and all that. They're going to do the ritual, same night as a concert. All the other girls go to the concert without her. Again, they're wearing the same clothes. Did these girls own any other outfits? So they go to the concert dressed as bums and they buy just 3 tickets. And May's about to do the ritual and they don't explain nothing to her. That's another thing. Why not explain it to her? So I guess they all have to sing a song. It could be any song. And then I thought, oh my God, the Four Town Boys are going to end up doing music to fix this. So they can sing any song. And she has to stay in the circle, and it takes her to like this realm where she can lock away the panda. There's like a mirror, and as you walk through it, it pulls the panda away from you like it's like a pool. So when you go in one end, the panda goes out the other. But she sees the panda's really sad, so she doesn't do it. She just wants to go to the concert. She takes off. Starts running towards the concert, and a pretty cool scene. I love the music and everything, and the way she uses the panda to jump, turns back into May so she has like more lift, and then turns to the panda as she lands. She learns to do all these things just as she's doing it, but it's really cool. She's jumping up, you see the red moon in the sky. It's super cool looking. I love the way it looks. Makes her way all the way to the concert. The mom's like, I can't believe she disobeyed me, and the mom gets so mad, cracks her little pendant open, and she becomes a panda. We find out the mom could turn into a big panda, and I thought, oh, she's gonna be like 10, 15 feet tall. She's like a 50 feet tall. She's like a kaiju monster. What? So that's why the mom was so scared of it, but she saw her daughter could just turn into a regular sized panda. She always turned into a giant panda? How did no one know about this? But I guess the original fight that the mom had, that where she hurt the grandma, was when she wanted to date the dad. And the mom didn't approve, or the grandma didn't approve of the dad. So that's what their first big fight happened. And then she turned into the panda and attacked her mom. Oh, okay. But then the dad's like, as long as you're happy, because he saw like how much fun she was having as a panda. She's like, hey, when I saw you doing that, it made me laugh, and I just want you to be happy. Panda, no panda, it doesn't matter. The dad should have been telling her this from the very beginning, but it was nice that the dad did that. So the mom is going to go to the concert. May's able to find her friends in a giant crowd of kids. We're talking like thousands of people. She finds her friends. What? She gets down there. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Of course, it's almost an instant forgive. They see the one boy that was like the bully. He's there too. So he likes Four Town. So they all become friends together. They're going to the concert. It's great. It's wonderful. The song. The mom shows up as the giant panda and like rips the roof off the freaking stadium. All the kids start running away. It's going crazy. Of course, no, the police never show up. Not the military, nothing. And she's like, you go home, kids. This music's terrible. So she's going to just... How many people died in the trampling? How many people are they responsible for their deaths? It's unbelievable. May turns into the panda, starts, fighting her mom a little bit. Then they like, oh, we got to do the ritual again to pull the panda out of the mom and the daughter. So they make the big thing, and May like knocks her mom out, like jumps up there and just hits her in the face, like does a big attack, and she does like little twerking things to like distract her and stuff. Could you imagine your daughter just like pulling up her skirt and shaking her butt at 13 years old in your face? Like, take that, mom. It's ridiculous. But she's able to knock her mom out. And then she's trying to pull her mom into the ring so they can do the ritual and but why? When she wakes up, she should be calm, right? And then, but I don't understand. What's the downside of the panda? As long as you don't act like a complete insane person, you'll be fine. The grandma and the sister, the aunties, they all release their panda and they're strong enough to pull her in. Here's the thing. She's so big. How much do you think she weighs? Tons and tons and tons? There's no way they could have pulled her into the ring. But they pull her into the ring. They do the big ritual. We see the mom when she was a little girl. They kind of progress through like her ages or whatever. And then she gets to the mirror. Everyone decides to take their panda back out. Why? Obviously, they've shown that it wasn't a problem. And they were able to control it 100%. But again, if you can just release the panda by breaking your pendant, then why does it matter? You know what I'm saying? There's no consequences of keeping it or not keeping it. Everything's exactly the same because you can just release it at any time. What's the point? What is there a downside to either of these two plans? Anyways, May keeps hers, and end of movie, they're raising money to like fix the stadium. They would have to raise billions for how much they did, and all the people who may or may not have died. But yeah, that's the end of the movie. May gets to keep her panda. The mom and the grandma and the aunties don't, but they have them in their little thingies, the little charms. It's the end of the movie. So what was the story? I mean, what was the conflict? Don't listen to your parents. That's the conflict. I don't know. It's just okay. I like the animation. I don't see where people are getting all this thing where these girls are bisexual or lesbians or whatever they want to say at the time. Makes no sense. They were all crazy for boys. They all seem to want to be with boys. I don't know. Call these, I guess being a normal 13-year-old girl who likes boys is just out of the question, right? But again, I was seeing stuff about this movie not making any money, but how do they determine that if it's just on streaming. Because I guess it cost like 150 million to make it, only made 4 million or something ridiculous like that. How does that even determined? But anyways, I want Pixar to get back on their feet. Maybe it's really because these deeply personal films don't have a lot of substance. They may mean a lot to the director because it's their story on film, their $150 million therapy session. But to everyone else, unless you're just a Twitter weirdo and you just have to love everything that Disney and Pixar puts out, especially if it has anything to do with minorities of any kind, you have to automatically love it. I don't get it. It's just okay. At best case scenario, it's a 6.5. If you add everything up compared to other Pixar films, this would be a really good Illumination DreamWorks film. I'd be like, oh, this lines up with that, Ice Age Buck Wild. It's right about there. That's how okay this is. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching the reviews. This was a little late, but work and I had my eye surgery. I do have to have a second surgery, but this one isn't as bad as the other one, and everything should be fine. But thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. Comments below. What did you like about the movie? What did you hate? This would work better as a series. But anyways, I love you guys. See you on the next one. Crimson's in here. Thanks for watching the video. Remember, you can contact us on any of the social media platforms in the description down below. And while you're here, be sure to click on one of the videos over on the right.